And I'm here to talk to you. I'm here to talk to you. I just wanted to check in before I go to bed and tell you about the 5-day Harp Improv Challenge. It has started. It is in full swing. It is incredible. I want to take you backstage and just show you a little bit of it, what it looks like, and read you some of the comments of the takeaways that people are getting. But before I do that, I want to tell you what it is. Oh, and I can also see your comments. So if you have questions, let me know. It is about learning to improvise. It is about having a framework for improvisation so that you don't have to just be told, just go do something, but having a framework for it. And that framework is very, very simple. It is a progression. And there's a really kind of fun way to learn and memorize it. And then the challenge takes you through all the different things that you can do with it. So eventually what you're ending up doing with it is improvising. Maybe not just like this right now, but this is me taking that chord progression. And it's a chord progression that you will have heard in a lot of different tunes. We are doing it in just one key. We're learning it very simply. We're learning to how to have a bass line with it and how to use what I call fence post noodling so that you can create a melody with it. So you learn all the building blocks of improvisation. You get a framework, and you also learn this progression, which is really fun to play with. And you will hear it in the words of the people in the challenge in a minute. So let me just take you backstage. If you haven't already signed up for the free 2022 5-day Harp Improv Challenge, which is a mouthful, go to hipharp.com. That's hip as in cool, harp as in the instrument, and you can sign up for free. It's already started. One of the cool things about jumping in when it's already started is that you don't have to wait for each day. You can jump in, and already day 1, 2, 3 are already open now. Day 4 will open up in a few hours. And that means that you can jump in and just grab all of it. Then what happens is people get prizes and stuff like that. Well, I'm not going to go into the prizes right now because the biggest prize is that you are learning how to improvise. And hello, Connie. Hello. So you've probably already seen this, Connie, because I think you're in the challenge, but I want to show everybody what it looks like in the challenge. So I am going to try to share my screen here, and I will go to the Chrome tab, and I will go to this one. So I probably should first take you to the page where you get to join, but you know what? I'm first going to just take you into the Facebook group because it's so fun. So this is you can see that there's a bunch of different, this is the day 1. So there's a bunch of questions, and people they answer the questions, and that's how they win prizes, and that's how they learn stuff. And you can see all these different day 1, day 2, day 3, and the winners circle. But you can see there's 237 comments on this day 1. So that is people sharing what they learned. And the beautiful thing about that, and I'm commenting back, and people are commenting to each other. So it's this really incredibly supportive environment. And then people are also sharing videos of what the little things that they tried out as they're doing the exercises. And it's just really fun. It's so incredibly inspiring to just see all of this and see all the support. And so the other thing that I want to do, I just want to take you to the challenge homepage. No, not the homepage, but 5-day. Here, I'll just take you so you can see what it looks like. So when you go to actually, let me just take you to, well, this is the challenge. I'm going to take you backwards. So this is the challenge where you can register. So you just say, yes, I want in. I don't know if you'll see this, but then you can just sign up. You get to sign up for free. And these are some of the comments from people who've already been in the challenge. It starts on the 26th. It's still going. You're going to get this power progression, a way to improvise, and it's your first step to liberating yourself from the notes on the page. Here's some more comments and quotes, and then it describes me, your coach, for this. And I will just take you back to my homepage so you can see if the only thing you remember is hip isn't cool, harp isn't the instrument, to hipharp.com, you can join right here, this little registration button. If that's all you can remember, I can only usually remember one thing, hipharp.com. Just go there, look for this, register free. That will take you right here to the Improv page. And then you can click here, and that takes you right into the learning page. And I want to read you, I want to stop sharing. Oh, I see, I hit this. Oh, I'm not sharing. Hello, now I'm not sharing, which is great. I hope you guys can hear me. Just let me know if you're having trouble hearing me. I want to read you some of the comments, and I know it's kind of the middle of the night. I'm just about to go to bed, but I want to read you some of these, and I want to just make sure that I'm doing this right. Okay, great. I want to read you some of the comments that we've gotten because it's so inspiring to me to hear what people are saying. So Rosalia said, my biggest takeaway from day one was to suspend my judgment and just follow the shapes of the progression. So what you're learning in this is I'm always teaching by shapes and patterns. It's one of the things that makes the harp such a powerful instrument for improvisation in different ways than any other instrument. And, so each instrument has its strengths and its weaknesses when it comes to improvisation, when it comes to anything. And one of the things that the harp has, it's just so powerful, so beautiful. It really works for my brain. And I see that it works for a lot of other people's when I show them this, are the shapes and the patterns that you can literally, once you have the harp in a specific key and you learn these shapes and patterns and you start playing them, that creates music. The other big thing that I'm just going to go to some of the comments in a sec, but one of the big things that I love is instead of trying to play what's in my head, which would mean I would have to translate, I would have to hear it in my head, translate it to my hands, which I can't do. I used to try to do that. And then one day, and I always had it like, well, when I can finally do that, I'm going to be a great improviser. And one day I did it, like I actually translated it and I played the thing and I was recording and I was like, I finally did it. And I went and listened to it and it was just completely uninspired. And that's when I realized that one of the amazing things about improvising, probably on any instrument, but very much so on the harp, is that your fingers have a voice. Your fingers begin to have a voice, and I follow my fingers. I follow what's easy for my fingers. And that allows me to have flexibility and fluency. And I'm seeing that other people are starting to do that as well. And I find that there is a profundity for every simple mechanical thing that we learn to do on the harp in improvisation. There's a profound aspect to it. And for me, the profound aspect of that, of the ability to actually let our fingers, so the pattern is, and one of the shapes is, I'm just moving a shape around, and then I'm using that same shape as a fence post. So I can use it as a fence post, or I can just let my hands start doing what they do. And what I mean by that is that I can be really like, well, I want to go down and I'm going to cross under and I'm going to, or I can say, hey, for me, it's much easier to go down, just use 3 fingers, or to go down and as soon as I got down there, don't cross over. That's hard. Jump up. To actually follow the patterns that are easy for my fingers, and they end up making more unexpected and fun melodies than if I'm trying to make a melody of what I think a melody should sound like. And that's one of the things that's different about improvisation than composing. I'm a composer and I'm also an improviser. They use some of the same skills, but they're very different. In composing, I'm sitting there and I'm making something sound exactly the way I want. When I'm improvising, I'm dancing. I'm dancing with the music. I'm dancing with my hands. I'm exploring, what shapes do my hands make? Okay, so I'm going off on a little bit of a tangent here because I do want to read you some of the things that other people have said. But, and this is what's happening for me. I'm reading what the participants in the challenge are saying, and it's totally inspiring me because I'm experiencing the whole improv experience all over again from your experience. And that's why I love doing this. I love doing this every year. And that's why I'm noticing a lot of people who took the challenge a year ago or 2 years ago are in it again, and they're going further with it. So I'm just going to read you a couple more. So I'm trying to see who this is. Oh, I think this was Susan, said, I realize I can do quite a bit with just this simple progression. No need to get fancy progressions. And that's a thing that I talk about a lot in the academy and anytime I'm teaching improvisation. It's not about impressing with complexity. It's about getting fluency, connection to our instrument. And I can see that that's what's happening for people in this challenge. And let me come down here and find another one. So Kimberly said, my biggest takeaway, this was from day one, was what an excellent teacher DHC is. I love that. Thank you, Kimberly. In how she can break things down into simple steps and make them easy and not intimidating. And that is something that I really love to do. It's really fun to try to break it down. How does this actually work? And then she said, improv does not come naturally to me. I hope this challenge will change that. And I can already tell that that is happening. Julia says, thinking of these techniques in terms of patterns and shape frees the busy mind and allows you to just enjoy the process and focus on making beautiful sounds. Again, we can just get so caught up in like, am I doing this right? Did I do this right? Did I do this right? Am I doing this right? This doesn't sound right. The framework, the patterns, the shapes allow you in the door to start dancing with the sounds so that you're experiencing the freedom that improvisation gives you. And people don't know this in the challenge yet, but you'll also be connecting this to a piece that everybody knows so that by the end of the challenge, you're not only learning to improvise on this progression, but you're learning to put it together with a piece that everyone knows so that you can start seeing, oh, I could just learn a little tiny bit of a piece that everybody knows and then put this improvisation in here, which is easy and fun. And they get the experience of a piece of music that they love. I get the experience of getting to have freedom. I get this connection with my instrument. This is what happened. And this is why the next quarter in Hip Harp Academy is called Structure is Freedom. That's where I'm going with this. For the next 3 months or 2.5 months in the academy, we're going to be taking this idea of this framework and we're going to be expanding it and expanding it and expanding it and using it to help people build repertoires so that you can stop the madness, I do think it's madness of spending days and weeks and months learning one piece of music that then you have to be nervous about playing correctly. I think that's insane. I've done it, especially if there's a piece I really love. But I can also just be completely free or even just take part of that beautiful piece that I love, combine it with improvisation, and I open up to a bigger freedom. It's like the difference. It just goes back to that whole thing of the stone soup, meaning, oh God, don't get me started. Okay, it's late at night. I get it. So let me just go on and read some more of these. And if you want to know what I'm talking about, just join the challenge. Because I don't even have to explain it to you once you do the challenge. You will get in the challenge, you will start doing it, and you will know, you will experience it for yourself. And let me just read a couple more of the experiences people are having. Susan says, the biggest takeaway is that this simple, did I say this? Is that this simple progression can be expanded into so many more complex variations. So you start with one thing, that's all you have to remember. And then you can start playing around with it. It's like being a kid. Rebecca, I think it was Rebecca said, as I noticed multiple established songs getting stuck in my head while I played around, I took away from today's exercise the realization that this progression is everywhere. Yes, and that is why I call it the power progression, because it shows up in so many places that once you get it, it gives you all this power. And let me just read you one more, which is, this is Heidi after day 2. She said, my biggest takeaway is the many ways this progression can be expanded. It is really fun to create melodies. I was up till the midnight hour playing last night. So that's what happens. That's what's going to happen for you when you join the challenge, is that in some ways, wow, I didn't really realize this. The biggest challenge is to allow it to actually be simple. To allow, I don't know about you guys, but when I first started playing the harp, and I started as an adult, there was a certain, I felt like it was cheating if I wasn't working really hard. And I had this ideal of what I was supposed to sound like and what I was supposed to be. And I ended up improvising because I had to make a living to pay for the harp. And I was in college and I was paying my way. And I just remember actually feeling humiliated. Like, I can't do that. That's blasphemy on the harp. But I had to. And then what happened is that I was playing in restaurants at that time, I was playing background music, is that people came up to me and said, oh, I love that song. And I realized, I didn't have the words for it at the time. If I had had the words for it at the time, I would have said, oh, I get it. It's about being of creative service to somebody. It is about playing something they love. It is about giving them a gift that they love. I can have this framework that can give infinite numbers of gifts that people love, that move them, make them happy. Or I can sit there and make them see how important and fast I can play and la 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 la. And that was the biggest challenge for me, was shifting to allowing myself to use a simple framework over and over again, because it really connected with people, rather than trying to impress the heck out of them by doing something really hard. So anyway, that's what I wanted to, I know why I wanted to tell you this tonight, is because we're doing a Q&A tomorrow. So when you jump in today, you'll get a chance to just, whenever you see this, because I know this is the middle of the night, whenever you see this, jump in, get what you can, and then come to the Q&A, and that's going to be live, and you can ask whatever questions that you want. So thank you for jumping in and saying hello and being with me tonight. And just to the 500 plus people who are already in this challenge, you are blowing my mind. I mean, it's so fun to be with you. It is so fun to be playing with you. You are helping me see this, you're helping me see what I'm teaching in a completely new and exciting way. And that is why I personally love the challenge, because this simple concept keeps getting expanded and described and explored and played in different ways that are clearly inspiring to everybody else who's in the challenge. and really inspiring to me as well. So, to everybody who's already in the challenge, I am so loving what's happening and what you're sharing. And to everybody who is not in the challenge yet, go to hipharp.com. Hip is in cool, harp is in the instrument. Sign up and join us. It is not too late. The challenge runs through the 30th, but in fact, it actually runs through the weekend because you'll be able to get the grand prize. You'll be able to be, I'll explain all that later. Okay, so farewell. Good night, everybody. Thank you so much for jumping in with me tonight. Okay, bye.